Here we are, the end of second stage. At the end of this video, we'll have our 10 alumni of All-Stars and we'll be moving on into third stage. But before we get to the exciting stuff, we've got a laundry list of confessionals to get through, as usual. 96 sent these lyrics to some weeb song that I didn't bother looking up. He also sent this video. Jokes aside, this is very well made. Acian also sent a video confessional. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you an Ali% speedrun. And Epic sent the results to his random number contest from 2 or 3 episodes ago. Here they are. Sheridan said, sometimes you just need to pray. Corpulent said, the real Epsilon TWOW All-Stars finalists are the friends we made along the way. Mr. Dell said, I do still plan on making a full 50 card ranking after second stage ends, so you all have this round to sway my opinion either in the Discord chat or by breaking the game one last time. Also, I got my goal of successfully using Mount in every single round, so I won't even be mad if I'm out. Navy sent a video that I'll play a part of.
Hey, what are we doing out of the bottle? This is dangerous. A little kid might come along and think we were candy. That would be awful because we're medicine. He might even eat us. No, 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 no. This is serious. Serious. We could make you delirious. Delirious.
Not a Donut said, send me to hell. The results reveal. Plasmic Trojan said, welcome to the season finale of my ARG. I'd like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for playing along. Making these clues has been so fun. For anyone wondering, the correct combination was chroma key and the green door. Anyone who used this combination will see the true ending. The Morse code from round 7 was just a red herring, and the correct path was the acronym seen if you reverse my confessional from that round. I'm sure a ton of you got it though. Good game. Winnie Unity said, draw 2. TR said, what if the real second stage was the plaques we bought along the way? That's a nice inadvertent response to Corpulent's technical. So that's our final group of second stage confessionals. For a lot of people, that was probably their last confessional of the season, but for some people, maybe it wasn't. Before we start, I need to correct something. 96LB's trap card was incorrectly accounted for last round, meaning he actually won round 7. In terms of damage values, nothing changes. They're still the same, and this is what they look like. Keep in mind that this round is double damage. There's one more thing I want to reiterate. I said this at the beginning of second stage, but that was months ago, so I'll say it again. If 10th and 11th have the same damage at the end of the stage, both players will become alumni. There is no tiebreaker. The final second stage prompt was, as a member of an ancient civilization, what is your useless product and how do you market it at its ridiculous price? 22 All-Stars responded, meaning 10 out of 22 responders will make alumni, and 8 players are already eliminated. We'll give every eliminated All-Star their own dedicated eulogy at the end of the video, so for now we'll move straight to results. The winner of round 8 is someone who actually hasn't won a round of All-Stars yet. Their best placement before this was 3rd. And before that, it was 3rd. And before that, it was 3rd. Subtly wins round 8. This is a huge win for Lee, who is right on the bubble of damage. Obviously, I've obscured everyone's card layouts and damage for now. I just want the suspense, of course. So for now, we don't know if Lee healed, took intentional damage, or did neither of the two. Lee discovering that the word Riz passes kids drawing is one of the best things that's happened in this TWOW. Lee's response is actually an advertisement for leeches, and the word birds is used to refer to girls. Okay. Technical restrictions have unearthed some wild things about the English language. In second place is Plasmic Trojan with one of my favorite responses of the round. It's the classic. You buy a picture of the real thing instead of the real thing. ZX comes in 3rd, just below 100%. Since joining the All-Stars roster, ZX has been performing so well that it's easy to forget about their walk-on status. Compared to the people around them, ZX's 30% boost isn't anything crazy. Writing good responses is still the meta, you know. ACN, you weren't listening? This response really would have benefited from a trolley bus emoji. Mr. Dell was originally lower, but slowly clawed his way up to 5th place overall. For someone on the bubble, every individual placement counts. Dell's response is interesting in the fact that a prehistoric society might actually benefit from discovering resonant frequency. It's not really a scam, I'd say. Gizmote's response had wording that felt a bit awkward to me, but that 65% raw score means that I'm just weird. Navy placed 7th this round. Navy hasn't broken into the top 5 at all at this stage, but he's still a definite contender for some of the lower spots in the top 10 if his build this round was really good. Now, before we reveal this next person, I'd like to remind you that this round saw 22 people submit 36 responses. 15 of those responses came from 3 people. Corpulent wins the DRP battle twice over, mainly due to a rebound from debit card last round. His top 2 responses are both about different brands of mythology, which is a really cool idea. Actually, I didn't even realize this until I was writing the script, but all 4 of Corp's responses specify a different culture. Neat. Legend Finder's response split the voters in half. I'm not really sure if his response was so controversial because people didn't understand it, or if everyone understood his response but half of them didn't like it. Either way, Legend still has a strong shot at making the top 10 in damage. Corb's 3rd response is my personal favorite out of all of his, but if you weren't familiar with Hammurabi's code beforehand, it may have gone over your head. Meowie Cat didn't get to vote before the deadline, but by that time the gap between her and Legend was too large for her vote to change much. Meowie went all in on technicals, and it earned her a decent final score. 96LB is rocking a 3% boost in 12th. I'm low-key not sure what his response means. Ironic's response was great, but his boost was a little lacking. That could indicate a healing build, though. Corb's 4th DRP places right below Ironic. Epic and Ali, the other 2 members of the 5 response gang, place back-to-back next. Both of their top responses are about trolling people. Awesome. The Mario Party book made the Mario Party response. Fitting. Ironic is the only player other than an Epic, Ali, and Corb to submit a DRP. His was actually an honest attempt at a real second response. The slap chop didn't work out quite as well as Alexa, it seems. Cobalt decided to send in one last response for round 8. It performed pretty well in raw score, and it's a great response. Thank you, Cobalt, I appreciate it. Ali % pulled up with the globe. My dummy did not win raw score this round. I wasn't really expecting it to. Piloto is the only person to actually place in this group of 5, with the other 3 responses being from Ali and Epic. Piloto made a nice and simple response, but I'll admit I don't quite see the connection between gravel and the sun. After Ali's 4th response, TR is the next to place. TR wrote a great response, but you'll notice that he has a heavy penalty. You can probably guess that a few people went all in on a healing build this round. I'm assuming the word facilibum means something in H's response, but I have no idea what it is. He's got a smaller penalty, so maybe H has a bit less healing, or maybe his build's just optimized better. Corb has the highest placing worst response with, "This wheel thing is efficient AF." Good job, here's a response about doors. Not a Donut places 19th with a hefty penalty from healing. Who knows, the low placement might end up being dangerous. Words. Definitely Not is down here too, with a pretty low score. He might be cooking something too, or he might not be. Ooga booga. Winnie went 100% in on technicals, but he has a penalty? This is a weird looking build for sure. We'll see if it works out for him. And in last place is Sherido. Huh. Last place by more than 40%. Either it's a last-ditch healing build attempt, or Cherito just became a very real threat to make the top 10 with a successful Suicide King attempt. We don't know for sure yet, though. This is it, the Alumni reveal. Let's get right into this by revealing the winner of second stage. ZX comes from barely passing through the walk-on competition all the way to becoming the winner of second stage. With only 5 damage to their name, ZX completely cleaned this game out and ended up winning by 10 damage. Great job, ZX. The names H and Plasmic Trojan tie for second with 15 damage each. Both were incredibly strong players throughout first and second stage, and they both quickly became obvious locks for Alumni. You both probably advanced the meta more than anyone else this stage. Good job to both of you. Tied for fourth are 96 and TR. Both of these players are people I'm very excited to see in the top 10. 96 completely broke the game, and I think his schemes were the most fun to watch from behind the scenes this stage. I'm so happy to see TR returning to his former glory in a massively impressive way. It's been too long since I've had you as an alumnus, TR. Welcome back. We're halfway through, and this is the surprise. The original Cinderella story of this TWOW is back. Sherido successfully Suicide Kings and makes up a massive deficit in damage to finish in 6th place. There really isn't a more fitting final chapter to your story in this TWOW, Sherido. You began as one of the most incredible underdogs I've ever seen in TWOW, and that underdog skill has gotten you all the way to Alumni of All-Stars. Let's see your run continue. Gizmote is 1 damage point after Cherito. Gizmote, you stuck to your roots this round and played your own short response strategy. You have a more distinct style than anyone else in this trial, save maybe 96, and I've always loved to see that. You forced the meta to be built around you, and you were not flattened by it. You're overdue for a season win here, let's be honest. ACN might be a surprise. I know you were saying early on that you didn't expect to even be invited to this season, but I know why I invited you. You have an unmatched ability to make things interesting, and this season, That included making things go in your favor. You played the healing build before anyone else copied you, and for that, you deserve immense credit. Not a Donut is the 9th person to place. You're the only All-Star whose first season of mine was All-Stars, but I can definitely say that you've earned your spot in our top 10. You dominated the walk-on competition, and you've held your own against all these players with more experience. You're the newest of New Gen, but you clearly have the skill to perform well. I hope you'll continue to succeed in 3rd stage. This is it. This is the final spot. Don't hold your breath, everyone. There were no ties. This is really it. Only one more person will make Alumni. Who is it going to be? By a margin of 1 damage point, Mr. Dell is the 10th and final member of Alumni. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Dell earned this spot. As fun as using loopholes and breaking cards is, playing a simple strategy with consistently airtight execution is so impressive, and Dell was narrowly rewarded for it. These are our 10 alumni. Good job to all 10 of you. I know it wasn't easy to get through those first 8 rounds, but now you're here. Stage 3. The slate is cleaned. Okay, now that we're out of the dramatic segment, here's what our final damage table looks like. Lee and Legend Finder fell just barely short of the threshold. Results were so precarious throughout the entire voting period, and I'm honestly really surprised there didn't end up being a tie at 10th. Here's everyone's card layouts this round. There are some notable takeaways here. Defnot decided to throw in the towel this round, unfortunately. With only 10 points, I'm still impressed he got as close to moving on as he did. 96LB threw with his build and cushioned himself with the damage lead he had. That's the ballsiest move I've ever seen, given how crazy people can make their builds in this TWOW. Hidden Block card finally overtook Block of Wood as the most popular card of the round, with Antimatter card right behind it. That's funny because Hidden Block card gave people terrible RNG this round. Dell submitted the stupid easy double letters technical with the index card. Some people did manage to fail it, both purposefully and on accident. Now, I'd like to go through every eliminated player by their final rank and give a short speech about them. I'll keep the DNPers more brief. Here we go. In 30th, Trico. It's unfortunate that you had to bow out so early on in the game, but I'm glad you participated while you could. You're fun to have around as a kind of wild card since you rarely ever share how you're feeling in terms of confidence. Thank you for joining, Trico. In 29th, Jolene. You had pretty much dipped from TWOW by the time the season began, but I'm glad you still gave this season a try. You're fun to have around, and I appreciate what you've done in this TWOW as a whole. Thank you, Jolene. In 28th, Wyatt. It's always nice to have representation from my earlier seasons stick around. You're one of the people I remember meeting very early on in the community, and I'm glad you stuck around for this season. I know your responding ability was hindered by some unfortunate timing early on, but even still, I'm glad you gave this season a try. In 27th, Marbleside. You're one of a very small number of people who've done all 5 of my seasons at this point, and I'm glad to have had you join. You may not have done a lot in All-Stars, but in contrast, I've started to make my mark in your TWOW by joining Season 7. I think that counts as an accomplishment, at least on my part. In 26th, Cyclonic Rifted. I'll be honest, it feels a bit weird to make one of these write-ups for a guy I go to school with. Regardless, it's been a lot of fun to have people that I know take to my hobby and run with it. Cyclonic was the first person I invited to make a really good run in one of my seasons, and I think you had a good time in this season too. In 25th, Razor Force. After you DNP'd in Season 1, I kinda figured you'd be done with my TWOW, but I'm glad you came back to make a run in Season 4 so I can invite you to this. You didn't do the best with items this season, but your responses were great throughout. Thanks for playing. In 24th, Cobalt Forever. I was so surprised to see you join my second season, and your run to the finale was a ton of fun to watch then. I fully expected you to turn down the invitation to this season, but nope, here you are. I know you're not the most active player out there, but it means a lot to me that you accepted and gave it a try. In 23rd, Gray. This is a bit of a fall from grace compared to your Season 3 and Season 4 performances, but I get it, life gets in the way. You've definitely had your time in the spotlight, and you've helped massively to make this TWOW what it is today. I'm so happy with the fact that Seasons 3 and 4 really helped to bring some unknown TWOWers into the spotlight, and you are the crowning example of that. Thank you for joining. In 22nd, Ghost. Speaking of breakout stories in my TWOW, I think Ghost counts. You may not have stuck it out to the end this season, but you're very good at this. I only wish you had tried playing with items in Dell's second season. In 21st, Piloto. Having you join my first season was shocking to me in 2019 when I was a completely new host, and then you went on a 7-round prize streak? That was insane, and you made my first season a ton of fun to host. You're also the first person I've mentioned so far who submitted a response in all 8 rounds of first and second stage, which I obviously appreciate. I'm still so surprised you accepted the invitation to this, man. It's been great having you. In 20th, Ali%. Probably my number 1 in the community. Your run this season was purely for fun, and I liked that because it was easy on my back end. I think you're a huge contributor to this TWOW in terms of the growth of its community, and that's the aspect of it that I value the most. When you joined my second season, I really didn't know you very well, despite us both having been in .02, but that's obviously changed. Always glad to have you now. In 19th, an Epic. The most consistent 4-season veteran of this TWOW, and the only person to have not just 2, but 3 versions of the nice role. I think that embodies your history in this TWOW. Having a good time has always been your first priority, and I've been here for it since day 1. Oh, and fun fact, since Season 3 didn't kill people in its vanilla rounds, you are the only person to ever have died due to submitting an 11-word response in this TWOW. Good job. In 18th, Corbulent. If there's anyone to rival 96 in being an agent of chaos with items, it's you. The only real difference is that Trico tried to Suicide King with you in round 4 only. That was an unfortunate coincidence, but you really bounced back after that and did some great damage control to end up in 18th. In 17th, definitely not. Dude, really. I know you gave up in round 8, but your second stage was seriously the most impressive performance this TWOW has ever seen. You had fewer points to work with than anyone else by a wide margin, and you were cleaning people out for the first 3 rounds. All you really needed was 1 good placement in first stage, and I think you would have been a lock to make it through. I really thought you had given up after the first 2 rounds, so seeing you come back and clean house for a bit was a treat. Thank you for playing. In 16th, Meowie Cat. Another Season 1 alumnus coming back to play in All-Stars. You're definitely a scarier threat now. You didn't flop this season, but unfortunately you weren't able to grab a super high spot in any rounds to carry you through to 3rd stage. Still, it's been great to have you as a fellow JB TWOWer. In 15th, Navy. Unfortunately, our only walk-on not to make Alumni. Still, top half is super impressive. You had a solid run in roguelike, so I knew that you were going to put up a good fight in 2nd stage, and you did. Your last second push this round was pretty competitive. I'm glad you joined this season, Navy. In 14th, Wenny Unity. I feel like you're an underrated player in TWOW as a whole, and I invited you knowing that your item management skills were going to surprise people. You may not have qualified, but I'd say I was right. Nobody played 2nd stage like you did, and if just 1 round had gone better for you, I'd say top 10 was easy. Thank you for joining, Winnie. In 13th, Ironic, and here, we lose a season winner. It's unfortunate that you weren't able to make a run into Alumni, Ironic. I was really rooting for you as the winner of Season 3. I think you honestly got power crept a bit, as you really never had 1 round with a breakout performance in 2nd stage. Still, I'm glad to have you, and you can always call yourself the winner of my biggest season. In 12th, Legend Finder. Man, this elimination and the next one are rough. Legend, you and Lee were the only 2 other people who had a very strong chance of living this round, but you both missed out by small margins. Legend, I feel like you're an underrated player these days, but you clearly displayed your skill this season as well as in Season 4. I'm glad you put up such a good fight, and I'm sad that you didn't end up making it. Thank you for playing. And finally, in 11th, Subtly. Damn, I'm so sorry. I was praying for a tie, but it just didn't happen. The Temperance is what killed you, I'm afraid. Dell didn't quite take enough damage to dip below the penalty you took. If I could bend the rules to let you in, I would. Having you as a contestant injects so much life into the season, and I'll absolutely miss seeing you scheme in the Alts DMs. Somebody has to be 11th place, I guess. Thank you for playing, Lee. Well, that's a wrap. If any eliminated players would like to submit a eulogy to be read in the next video, you can do that during responding and voting in round 9. Alright, Alumni, let's get cooking. Third stage will have the elimination path of a regular TWOW. We'll start at 10 and progress normally until the finale. We're done with points and damage in the shop, if that wasn't already obvious. Consider the slate wiped clean, like I said. From here on out, each round will have its own unique twist that changes the gameplay in some way. For example, here's round 9's prompt. You see, when you're a TWOW champion like our 10 alumni, you're constantly on the grind. You just don't have the time to take care of all the small things you have to do every day. Fortunately, with your elegant wording skills, you might be able to get other people to do things for you. Your prompt is, ask for an unpleasant favor, but phrase your request like a pickup line. An example of what I'm looking for might be, wow, you're great at Splatoon. Could you demonstrate your painting skills on all 4 walls of my master bedroom? Basically, you want to ask someone for a favor, like repainting a room in your house, by flattering them or, whatever other strategies people typically use to pick someone up. I'm upping the character limit this round to 150, since I think you need the extra space this round to really get your ideas across. Also, you'll all be submitting 2 responses to this round. Why? Well, this round will use H's Grand Prix voting system. Assuming we receive all 20 responses, voters will only vote on their top 10 favorites. Each vote will assign points to each response based off of this table. At the end of voting, I'll scale these points so that the response with the highest point count scores 100%, and the other responses will score lower based on how close they are to the top response's point count. In terms of actually surviving, everyone's higher scoring response will count, and the bottom 2 players will bow out in 9th and 10th. So that's the deal. Grand Prix voting, 2 responses, 150 character limit, pickup lines. I have to say, I'm excited to have a round with a less intensive back end this time around. Good luck, Final 10. I'm so excited to see what third stage is gonna be like.